welcome to Vlogmas Day 24. It is Christmas Eve day, and can you believe it? We are starting off right where I started Vlogmas my first day. So that was technically day 3 for me, or for everyone else, it was December 3rd. But for me, my first Vlogmas day started off upstairs in the bedroom stripping sheets, and it is Sunday today, and it is Christmas Eve, so no better time to strip the sheets than Sunday on a Christmas Eve. So taking the pillows off and going to strip the sheets, throw them into the washing machine. The boys' sheets are on their way, so getting their beds all straightened up as well, and just sort of going to do some little tasks to straighten up around the house today. And it's Christmas Eve cast on day, so yay! One thing that I want to do today is to put on my Christmas Eve socks from last year. These were my cast on from last year. I showed them yesterday on my Vlogmas, and these are the Vintage Fairy Lights pattern and the Vintage Fairy Lights sock yarn colorway from Jane of Hedgerows. So Helen did the pattern, Jane did the yarn, and I have a beautiful bag from Danny of Little Bobbins. And this year my Christmas Eve cast on is going into a very special bag from Danny of Little Bobbins as well, but I will show that in a little bit. So right now, stripping the sheets, gonna throw them in the washing machine and get on with the day. This is my hand knit sock drawer, and in my hand knit sock drawer, I have lots of space to fill up. I've got a lavender sachet way back here so that when my drawer gets a little more full, it'll smell really, really lovely. And so that's my goal this year, is to fill this drawer up a little bit. These are not all of my hand knit socks. Some of them are hanging to dry or are in the wash, but these are a few of them. So these are my Molly Weasley test knits that I did for Tracy of Nora George, and I really hope she releases that pattern. This is also a test knit that I did for Emily of Viola Yarns, and this is her Emily's Favorite Sock pattern. And I love that pattern. It's just a nice, comfy, slouchy sock. These are actually one of my first pairs of socks, and they are toe up. And I knit these using Viola, same colors actually as the ones beside them. And this is using a Kate Atherley pattern, and I did these after taking a workshop with Kate Atherley. These are my Slytherin socks, and this is Nora George Yarns, and this was me just sort of trying to figure out my own vanilla sock recipe. So I've kind of got that where I like it, and I'm really happy with those. These are my original Apple Blossom test knit, and these are Dragonfly fibers in the Springtime in Paris colorway. And I love those socks. They're really fun, especially in the spring. And here we are. It is Christmas Eve cast on day, and I get to wear last year's Christmas Eve cast on, which are gorgeous. And this is the Vintage Fairy Lights colorway by Jane of Hedgerow Yarns, and as I showed yesterday, this is the Vintage Fairy Lights pattern by Helen of Curious Handmade. So I'm going to put those on my feet right now and get going with the day. Okay, the sheets are stripped, and I'm just going to the washing machine, which is just right around the corner. So really convenient for me. I'm very lucky to have a washing machine on my 3rd floor, and that came about because when we first moved into our house, it was split into 2 units. So the 1st floor was a self-contained unit, and the 2nd and 3rd floors were their own sort of rooming house type of style home that it had been. And so what we did was we moved into the 2nd and 3rd floor, and we put a kitchen on the 2nd floor. And the 3rd floor room, it used to be what I used to call the Alice in Wonderland kitchen. And I wish I had taken a picture of it. I never did, but it had red and black and white everywhere. So the floor was, I think, red and white checkered tiles, and the rad was painted black, and the windowsill was painted black, and it wasn't a nice red. It was not even a fire engine red. It was just crazy red. So this was, it had a sink in there. So we thought we would be able to move our regular washer and dryer up there, but it didn't fit up the stairs. So we had to purchase a 24-inch washing machine. So that's why we have a 24-inch washing machine on our 3rd floor. Since we've done our renovation, we've turned our 2nd floor kitchen when we first moved in into a laundry room, which is nice, and it has a full-size washer and dryer, so nice to have, especially when the one that I'm standing at right now, we only had this washing machine when Nathaniel was little, and I did cloth diapering, so it was laundry every night, and it was making sure that everything was up to date. And that's kind of hard to keep on track of, like on top of, when you're doing cloth diapering, but definitely a nice bonus to have now, because I have my own washing machine here, and downstairs the boys have their washing machine. Not saying I don't ever use the one downstairs, but for the most part I use this one, and nobody's stuff comes in here, and that way I can keep my delicates, so anything that needs to be hung to dry, it goes in this machine, and then I separate it, and then I take it down to the dryer as needed. But every week I just have to walk around the corner, throw the sheets in, and that is really a great thing. So I'm going to put these into the washing machine now, and you will notice on the wall that I have my lovely little hooks that I put up not too long ago, and I have my sock blockers, and look what is at the end here. And they're still kind of damp, but here is my labelle. Here is my labette, all blocked, ready to go with their mates. And beside, this is sort of my mix and match. I kind of took, this was my 3rd vintage fairy lights that I did last year, and I kind of embellished a little bit. So I took the fairy lights pattern and I took it down to the heel, and then I continued the striping. So not the fairy lights portion, but just the striping down. And I used, this is Turtle Pearl yarns, and I think it was the Autumn colorway or Gatineau colorway in Sparkle, and they are really, really sparkly. So I'm thinking that tomorrow I'm going to be wearing these on Christmas Day. So it's going to be a 3 fairy light day. These are pretty much almost dry. And then at the end I have these socks which I've shown before, and this is a yarn that Helen gifted to me when I went to England. I believe this is my Woolen Vine Orchard. And at the end here, this is the pink that I used for my Apple Blossom socks, my 2nd ones, and that is Springtime in Paris, I think. Yes, I think so. Anyway, so those are just up here. These 2 are dry, this one not quite. And I also had Isaac's brown socks, but I took those down and just put them on his rad just to finish drying a little bit. So, okay, laundry in. I'm going to use some nice lavender scented laundry soap. And you don't need much, just a tiny, tiny bit, not even a full capful. And let's get on with the day. I am ready to get myself all set for the Christmas Eve cast on. I have run a little bit low on ink on the printer, but enough to print up 2 patterns. So I have Danny of Little Bobbins. This is the Night Before Christmas socks, and this is what I am going to wind yarn for now. And if I get around later on tonight to another pair of socks, or these might wait till tomorrow, this is by Olivia, and this is the Wild Flowers in Honeycomb pattern that Olivia and I share the same birthday, and she gifted this to me on our birthday, so that was really quite kind, and I've been really wanting to knit one of her patterns. So I'm going to use the Where the Winter Roses Grow by Nora George, and that was in my So Sweet Violet kit. So, but for this one, which is what we are working on now, I have my yarn ready, and this is my Hedgerow Yarns, And I keep calling it Holly Jolly, but it is Jolly Holly, and it is sparkly, and I am excited to start winding that. So I'll just put my pattern down. This is my crafting room up on the 3rd floor, and I have my Swift and my lovely winder all set up. I moved things around back in August, and I didn't like how they were settled, so got things back to where I liked them in November, and I'm a lot happier in this room. It still needs some straightening, and I'm hoping to get some sewing done in here as well, and my sewing machine is just right over to the side with a pile of other things. So yarn is ready. I'm going to put some music on, and we are going to wind. All ready to wind.
Just wanna see my baby standing right outside my door. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. You know that all I want for Christmas is you.
So that was lovely to wind with Michael Bublé and All I Want for Christmas, a very different version than the one we're all used to. So it's nice, calm, perfect Sunday morning, perfect way to start off Christmas Eve day. So let's get the Swift down. Before we head downstairs with our yarn and our pattern, we need one more really important thing, and that is in the drawer beside me. And that is my very special bag that I'm going to use for this year's Christmas Eve cast on. My wonderful bag from Danny of Little Bobbins. So I am so excited to use this one, and Danny and her mom made this beautiful bag together, and it is just so special, and I have been saving it especially for tonight's cast on. So yarn inside, pattern ready to go. Let's head down to the next floor where we're going to look at today's Advents. And now we are on the 2nd floor, and it is time to open today's Advents. So I've got them in my basket here beside me, and we will start off with David's tea. And I'm thinking today is probably not going to be much of a surprise. My guess is that it's going to be Santa's secret. We shall see. But the nice thing about this calendar is here is 24, but there's a bonus for tomorrow. So I haven't peeked, although I think my boys may have peeked into theirs. So let's pull out number 24 and see what today's tea has in store for us. So it looks like this, and that to me looks like Santa's secret because I see little candy canes which do not taste good. These ones at least. The Candy Cane Crush ones, yes, because they're real, but these ones are just sort of like a weird sort of sugary one. And so I think that looks like Santa's secret, and let's flip it over. Yes, it is Santa's secret. So not too much of a surprise, so maybe I will drink this today. And now with all of the colors in, except for the one in the center, all turned around, they are a pretty picture. So there is, oops, wrong way, David's Tea Advent for 2017 done. So we'll put that off to the side because well, it's not quite done. I get to check tomorrow's little gift. And then my lovely So Sweet Violet bag has one more treat inside, and I haven't really been able to share too much of the inside of this bag because before it was filled with envelopes, and now there's just one little present at the bottom for me, and you can see inside my bag. And my plan is for the Where the Winter Roses Grow, that project is going to go in here for either another Christmas Eve cast on or maybe a Christmas Day cast on with that yarn. And today's gift, the 24 fell off actually, but a lovely little wrapped gift. And this is Rose and Almond. And it is a hand cream, I think. And a lovely little hand cream, which is good because my hands are pretty dry and disgusting right about now. So there we go. So some nice hand cream to moisturize my hands. And I actually had a bit of a catch just on my nail just before I wound my yarn, and I have several of these around the house, and these are I love these. These are the best nail files ever. These are my Sephora glass nail files. So I have one in my purse, I have one in my bedside table, I have one in this room, I have one on my knitting table. They're just so handy. So anyway, there's always one around to catch those little catches before they become big snags. So Rose and Almond, and I am so excited to start using this wonderfully made bag by Jules. And there's also the little notions pouch, so that can go inside too. So there we go. And we are down to my final box, my Nora George Yarns box. And let's open up and take off this. And there are two things in here. There is a little 24 envelope for today. And for tomorrow, I have a skein of yarn. So this goes over top, and one more gift for tomorrow, along with my fun little tea surprise. So number 24, let's see what color Tracy has in store for me today. I hope it's not yellow. Wouldn't that just be funny? It's pretty. It's pretty for sure. And it's not yellow. Look at those speckles. It's lovely cream with pink and just fun colored speckles. This is the perfect Christmas Eve colorway, I think. Perfect way to end my lovely Nora George mini fest. And tomorrow I get a Nora George maxi, so really excited to see what Tracy has in store for me there. So that's Advent all done. And now I'm going to go down, take some photographs of my yarn so that I'm all ready to set up my Ravelry page. And I am going to make some tea because I'm feeling like I need a little bit of caffeine. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to do some casting on. And I'm also going to share what I did yesterday. And now I am on the first floor. I have taken yarn photos of my Christmas Eve cast on out on the porch and got some lovely daylight to get those photos with. And I'm going to create my Ravelry page in a little bit. I'm going to settle myself. I put the kettle on. I have washed up my new teacup, which I've had for a while and I have been saving for Christmas. So I thought I'll break it out today for my Christmas Eve cast on. And this is the David's one that the fox changes a little bit. So I'm excited to see that happen when I add my Santa's Secret to it. So that is the plan for a few minutes from now, making my cup of tea and then sitting down and doing my cast on. But before I do that, I want to just share what I got up to yesterday, and that is in my pink hazel bag, and that is my oracle shawl. So where I had only done section 1 of my oracle on October 1st for the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along, I've gotten a little bit farther, and I've moved from, originally I started off doing magic loop on really long needles, and then when I got to the brioche, I got all messed up doing the magic loop. Brioche, magic loop, and we don't get along, so I spent quite a while tinking back and fixing it back up. I almost had a recast on the eve before Christmas Eve, but I tinked back and got it all back to where I wanted it. So I now have the original section, I now have a brioche section, and I am in the lace part of the shawl. And I've got a little bit more lace to do, and then I will be starting some brioche with the black pearl and the pink. So looking forward to making some progress on that today as well. And of course I've got some lovely little libations to keep me company in my bag. So lots of chocolate to keep me going. So that's what you need on Christmas Eve. Chocolate, knitting, tea, and you're all set. That's all you need. So I'm hoping to get a good chunk done. Yesterday I switched from magic loop to 16-inch needles as I was working brioche, and I just switched to a 24-inch on my Luca, although I like to call them Likes rather than Lucas. Anyway, they are my wooden needles on there now, and then as I get bigger, I'll put my Hayas with the nice sharp point that I am looking forward to really using on this shawl. So I moved to a 24-inch round yesterday, and I put my beautiful Corner of Craft white snowflake on as my beginning of round marker. And when I first started way back when, there is my Corner of Craft sloth, and she's just so pretty on there that she needs to stay on just for decoration to show you how much I've done since yesterday. So hoping to get some progress on this today, as well as some progress on my socks that I'm going to cast on in a little bit. And now it is finally time to do my Christmas Eve cast on, get it officially cast on. I have my lovely warm cup of Santa's Secret tea, so I'm going to enjoy this while I do some knitting. I have a warm, fluffy puppy right behind me, keeping my back warm. That's always good. And I am about to put some music on and just do some lovely knitting. So I wish you a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much for tuning into Vlogmas with me. If you checked in every day, I super appreciate it. And I wish you a wonderful, happy, restful holiday season ahead. And of course, all the best in the new year. But I'll see you before then. So for now, tea is here, Santa's Secret. Let's say cheers and have a sip. Nice and warm. And now it is time for Christmas Eve cast on. I have my gorgeous Little Bobbins bag that Danny and her mother so lovingly created. And inside that bag, I have all the important things. I have my 'Twas the Night Before Christmas pattern by Danny. That's all ready for me. I have my important piece of jewelry, which I'm going to pop around my neck. I have my wonderful knitting needles. I've also got my lovely Julia Smith ceramic yarn bowl. And there is my beautiful skein of Jolly Holly by Jane of Hedgerow Yarns. And I'm so excited to use this lovely skein this year for my Christmas Eve cast on. So there is my yarn. I am going to pop on some music and just do some little bit of knitting. Not too much on my sock today, but enough to feel like I got a good start on my Christmas Eve cast on. I have to do all the sheets still, so getting those on the beds. Mine are still in the washer, the boys are in the dryer right now. And that's my afternoon, is going to be doing some straightening, a little bit of knitting here and there as well. And I'm really hoping to indulge and watch my favorite Christmas movie, and that is Love Actually. So I'm hoping to sit down, have some quiet time tonight to work on my sock and my oracle shawl, or either or, whichever one is easiest to watch while watching Love Actually. And even though I've seen it like 1,000,001 times, I still love it. But I haven't watched it this Christmas season. So this is my plan. Cast on, listen to some music, edit today's podcast, clean up, and then relax, knit, and just enjoy Christmas Eve. I wish you all a wonderful Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas. Happy Vlogmas!
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I've brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss
Tangled.
good night, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, my dear, we're still goodbying. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I've got some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh, let it snow. Please have some snow and mistletoe and presents.